There was news today that the Grand Theft Auto 4 remaster and Red Dead Redemption 1 remaster were essentially on the docket, gonna happen, and then the Grand Theft Auto trilogy that came out was such hot garbage that Rockstar said, forget it, we're not doing these other remasters now. They want to focus on GTA 6. I personally feel like we never needed a remaster for any of those fucking games anyway. And I feel like this trend of remastering games that are really not that old to begin with is kind of getting a little stale at this point. I wanted to know what you guys think. Am I on like point there, or you guys think I'm nuts?
Yeah, yes and no. The thing with GTA is they, no matter what they do, as long as it's GTA, they're gonna sell. And the problem is they fall into this like almost cockiness where
Well, with
they
GTA,
know they're
yeah.
gonna sell. So it's like maybe they don't put the best effort into the remake, and they just think, oh, we'll get by because it's us. You know what I mean? And
But see, here's my thing.
That trilogy that they came out with on the, what was it, Vice City, San Andreas, and
Yeah, I was
3?
amped for it, but they really put such minimal effort into that thing.
Like to remake something like that and have that shitty of a graphic world, like it was almost embarrassing for them, in my opinion, because it just did not look good at all.
You know,
and it was very clunky and strange.
The reason I even bring this up is because we are getting a remaster of The Last of Us, and I just don't see why that would be a relevant game to remaster. That'd be like saying, "Oh, we're going to remaster The Last God of War before we release Ragnarok."
Already remastered it, you know?
Right? It's yeah, it's true. Actually, I forgot about that. They already remastered.
Yeah, they remastered because Last of Us came out PlayStation 3, and then they remastered it for the 4. Now they're going to remaster it again for the 5.
But then what about... So you guys are big Xbox fans, right? You guys are Halo fans. John, you're a Halo guy, right? Did you like the remaster for Halo, or did you feel like it was unnecessary?
No, I really liked it, but remasters to me just says one thing. They've run out of original material, and they're looking to cash in on something that, listen, what happens over time with fan bases, we see it now with Call of Duty. Look what's about to happen with the remaster, right?
Yeah, that's another one that came to mind.
What happens is over time, they start to, the barbarians are at the door, so to speak. They're, we want our game back. We want our game back. We want our game back. And a company's like, okay, well, we've pumped out X amount of new ones. Maybe we're not getting as much traction. Let's give them what they want, and we'll get a new stream of money coming back in, right? So the old heads will now go back to their game. And it just, what it screams to me is they ran out. They've run out of material.
It's no different than like a movie company going back and remaking a movie that they did in the 70s, 80s, whatever. It's the same thing. It's like their creative minds have a blank page and they don't know what to do.
I guess if it's that much of a time gap, though, it doesn't bother me so much. You know what I mean? But when it's
it just comes like
it depends on the movie.
It does.
It depends on the movie, but I feel like it's also like it's a trend now. You know what I mean? It's like, oh well, so and so's remastering this, so let's remaster our thing and then jump on that bandwagon. And it's like happening with gaming now. Like every game has a remaster.
That's what I'm saying. It's just I just don't need it.
Like, I went on like a mini rant about Resident Evil, and I know you're Resident Evil like.
I'm a diehard. Yeah, I'm a big Resident Evil fan.
But like, we're just going down the line. Like, okay, Resident Evil 8 just came out, and we're just we went to 1, we did 2, we're back to 3.
But
now we're remaking 4, and what next year is going to be 5. And we're gonna go. What are they gonna remake 8 in a couple years? That just came out.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
but here's my. There's a difference though. There's a difference between what they did with Resident Evil and what a lot of these other companies are doing with like Call of Duty, for example. They're not changing the game. They're upping the graphics. They're obviously modernizing the graphics and stuff like that. But in Resident Evil, if that's how all the remasters were, I don't think I'd ever complain. They're literally building the game from the ground up with new mechanics. They're kind of perfecting what the original idea was. with games like Call of Duty and I can't even think of another or GTA, for example. All they did was kind of make it a little prettier and they kept the game the exact same way. And I'm like, what's the point of that?
Hold on. So you're saying you're okay with remasters as long as they're just pretty?
No, they have to remake the game. It's like completely like in Resident Evil 2 is a perfect example. One of the complaints, I guess,
one of the best games of all time, by the way.
Yeah, and one of the complaints is that the original precinct didn't have bathrooms. Right, the whole floor layout of the precinct wasn't realistic. It didn't make sense, and there were well, that was just a big, at the time that was a nitpick. But so they basically took this opportunity to not just update the graphics, but give you a much better like kind of camera system, a much better control scheme. They completely redid the floor plan, made everything seem like a lot more realistic and kind of flow correctly. Same thing with Resident Evil 1. That remake,
you're transferring over a remaster 5 systems later, 4 systems later.
Right.
So when you're remastering, the word remastering is through and through what they're doing. The systems we have now is they're computers, right?
Right.
The PS5, the Xbox Series X. I mean, listen, for God's sakes, they built the model of the Xbox Series X as essentially replicating a desktop.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it looks like.
A tower, a computer tower. So the fact of the matter is you can, when you're remastering a game now, you are genuinely remastering a game from PlayStation 1, Resident Evil 2, the double disc, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know what this was. You're genuinely remastering it. What the thing is that some of the remasters you're seeing now, they're not remasters at all. You're just regurgitating. You're not
exactly, and that's where I draw the line.
They copy and pasted it, and then threw on like a filter to make it look a little different.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's tough to digest. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
I think there's an obvious generational gap anyway. I'm 36, right? So I've had a controller in my hand of some sort since the time I was 4. The first system I ever played was in Intellivision. The second one was an Atari ST2600. Metro was one of my favorite games. And even for me, furthermore, TurboGrafx, Bonk's Adventures was my second favorite game of all time. I've had a joystick in my hand.
Talk about aging yourself.
So, like, for me, the thing of it is it's never been about graphics. It's always been about functionality and gameplay. That's how it is for me, right? So Zelda, the greatest game of all time with 2 functioning buttons. Right? Like, you're talking about and even Super Mario Brothers, the first one, the slash duck hunt. Yeah. It was 2 buttons, A, B. So like, people don't understand that for gamers, there's also a difference. We played the original Resident Evils. I was totally in love.
Yeah, man.
With those games, the functionality of it, the chess, the ease of play, the gameplay. It was still scary with minimal graphics. And like, if I didn't get a remastered, I had a chance to play the original. The problem is with these kids now, and even like young adults, when they're playing a remaster, they don't even understand what the original was, right?
This is exactly why I wanted to bring it up. That's exactly why I wanted to bring it up. So John, you're a father, right? You got a couple of kids. Fred, you're not there yet. Maybe you'll be there one day. No pressure. You do whatever you want, all right? But my daughter is just starting to like be interested. She's like, Daddy, let's play Mario. She really wants to watch me play. But I'm like pushing. She's got to play the NES original Mario game. If she wants that controller in her hand, that's the game she's got to play. And I agree with you 100%. People are playing the remasters now, the Shredder's Revenge, and they have no idea the aggravation that original Turtles game gave us on NES. And I think that's just kind of hitting me now that it's like this trend is just too much now. It's like taking over.
The gap so far, man. We played 2D games that were built from the ground up from geniuses with original ideas. And think about that.
With no saving. We had to just do it.
Kids don't get it. Kids don't get it.
Think about what we got, right? The three of us. Think about the fact that everything that had come out was brand new, bro.
Yeah.
The steps. Think about the first time we turned on Nintendo 64. Think about the first 3D Mario game. Think about the first time, and Blast Corps. Think about the first time we, like, when that PlayStation came out, right? And we're playing Twisted Metal. Think about the first time the Xbox came out and we got Halo. I mean, people don't understand, because now the kids, when they jump on, you're at Halo Infinite already.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're already on Mars.
Right.
We got into the horse and buggy, okay? And that's what we had, and we saw Ford.
Shout out to Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
We saw Ford build the Model T. We saw these things progress, and we got a chance to play. And that's why I think it's hard for us. Not that we're fossils. I think it's just hard for us. We are fossils in the gaming industry, where we were there from the beginning. So when you hear our grandparents say, we used to walk to school with no shoes on, uphill both ways, right?
What's the gaming equivalent?
That's the gaming equivalent. Now, like when bro, I was just, it's wild. We're talking about this today. Obviously, you guys know, I work with kids for a living.
Right.
And in the summertime, there's a massive basketball camp that goes on inside the organization. It's one of the things that I help out with. And the board of directors asked me to go on. We take them on a trip once a week somewhere, just to kind of get out and do something fun, right? So the board asked me to go there, make sure they get home, they're safe and home safe, whatever. I look over them. Okay, cool. There's other supervisors, but they want me to sort of be the main guy, be the overlord. So I get on the bus today. I happen to look at my Xbox app, and I'm looking at a few of the clips I made, because I'm like, I'll send them to the guys, whatever. And a kid who's, he's in 9th grade. So what is he, 13, 14? 14.
Yeah, 14.
15. He's like, I sniped somebody. He's like, you suck, dude. And I looked at him, and I was like, now, so like, I'm real calm, And I
could have fooled me.
I showed him a couple of my clips, and he's like, bro, your movement, it's like so slow, blah, blah, blah. He was just talking trash. I said, so show me some of your clips. Now I stopped. I said, bro, listen. I said, here's what we'll do on Friday. Because they have like a gaming area inside the camp. I said, there's like 4 TVs set up. They got the new gen Xboxes, play whatever. I said, bro, let's do this. Pick a shooting game. And I'm going to mop you up. And I said, when that's done and over with, you will now know me as King Intel every time I enter the room.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be addressed as. And he's like, sort of like, what the hell, this old man? I said, bro, and on top of that, name what you want me. I said, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter, because it's not going to happen. So you don't understand. When I enter an arena, and I said, what's the first Call of Duty you played? This is what I'm getting at. He goes, it was like Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I said, dog, what? I said, first of all, I was playing live games before Xbox Live. He goes, that's impossible. I was like, no, my guy, I was on the spy tunnel. Figure it out. Like, you don't even. And he's like, bro. And in my mind, I'm like, these guys don't even understand what we got to love and enjoy. They don't know LAN parties, bro.
Dude, this whole episode right now is about to turn into just a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
Buttersworth, thanks for jumping into the chat. He just wanted to throw out there that the remaster for Final Fantasy VII is a good example of how they basically kept the story but changed everything else about the game to modernize it. And but now, Buttersworth, I don't know if you caught everything we were talking about. The point the captain here is trying to make is that these kids will start with Final Fantasy VII and be like, yo, that's my favorite one, the twists, the turns, whatever. But they don't know what it's like to play a game where you have big block characters and you have to use your imagination to kind of fill in the details. They don't know what it's like, arguably the first open world game to ride a horse for the first time in Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and be blown away by the mechanics. You know,
Best
you had
Zelda of all
to
time, by the way.
eat carrots or whatever it was to get stamina. Like
Oh,
they don't know that
it's
kind of
so-
shit.
It's so arguable because those games are legendary. Those
Legendary.
original games.
Legendary.
It's like we're splitting hairs, and that's the thing. I haven't split a hair with a new game. First of all, the new games suck.
When
Second of all,
when's the last time? Like you tell me, when's the last time that you played a game and thought to yourself, man, this game is gonna go down in history as a classic. You know what I mean? Like it's been a long time.
In 20 years. Genuinely.
I feel like
20 years.
Man, it's
Bro,
so Buttersworth, tell us what you think. Anyone who jumps into the chat when you watch the replay on YouTube, if you jump into the chat live, what do you think? I'm going to put it in the chat right now. What is the last game you played that is going to go down in gaming history as a classic?
I'll ask you.
I mean, it depends on the criteria. What?
Ready for this? Name me a game if you had to play one game the rest of your life. Go ahead. What would it be?
One game the rest of your life? That's a
One
tough
game.
one,
That's
bro.
tough. Oh man, I can't answer that.
Buttersworth says it's our job as adults to educate these kids. That's
Yeah,
our whole conversation. I got to make my kid.
It's a different time.
It is a different time, 100%.
I feel like it would have to be some sort of multiplayer. If I could, Rainbow Six Vegas would be my game. Probably because the multiplayer and the store were both great, so I can just keep going back and forth. You know,
love it. You're talking about a game that came out. I want to say 2000. Go ahead, Chris.
yeah.
I see. For me, I'd probably go older. Shadow of the Colossus. That's actually no. Is that older than 2000?
No, that was like, wasn't that PlayStation 4?
No,
Yeah,
not the
it was
remaster. Not the remaster.
Oh.
That's PS2. When was PS2? I don't even remember the dates.
Oh god, I don't know.
My point is that we had to reach back 20 years.
Yeah,
And that literally we had to reach back 20 years. That's what I said.
I think it's 2004. I want to say Shadow of the Colossus. So yeah,
And that's what's nuts. Think about the fact that in 22 years, there hasn't been a shooter in between 2000 and 2022 that has said, with all the graphics, all the hardware, all the makeup, all the software, all the development programs, in 22 years that you say, this top Vegas. 22 years,
Yeah.
bro.
yeah.
And it's
It's a
funny
big-
because
Big problem.
I'm agreeing that remasters, it's played out and everything. It's just, copy paste whatever. But on the flip side, I've also have been begging them, and I've actually tweeted Ubisoft a million friggin' times on this, to remake Vegas specifically because I want to relive that game in an updated
So here's my
graphic
Here,
time.
let me retort
I'm
this for a
dying to
second.
play that game again.
Let me retort you for a second because here's the flip side of it.
All right, I'll bring it back around to GTA.
Yeah. So to your point, John, before about or not your point, I brought up Resident Evil 2 as the example, and Buttersworth, you brought up Final Fantasy 7. If they can take the core story, right, keep it basically the same, and change everything about the game and make a game that is a AAA game that breaks records. Resident Evil 2, the remake, broke all kinds of records and all that stuff. Why not put that effort into just making a new game? Why not just make a sequel and use the same kind of thing?
It's not. I was getting ready for you to get done because I was about to tell you. The problem with it is now, we already had the idea, and we fell in love with that. And
Right.
the problem is,
Right.
we're not getting something new. Remember, everything that hit us was new. Resident Evil 2, new. Zelda, new. Right? Like every time we fell in love with that game,
Right.
it was new. Halo 1 was revolutionary. Halo 2 was sick.
Right, but it just
That's it.
yeah.
You're not getting anything else.
Yeah.
The new graphics, awesome. They brought back the old functionality, the jump, none of the crazy stuff. You really feel like you're playing the pistol. You really feel like you're playing the original Halo, minus the fact you're not getting that feeling, bro.
Right.
You're not sitting in front of your system and saying, "Holy shit!" Like
I don't have my three friends next to me on the couch, and we're
WWE No Mercy, man. I remember those games.
Greg, you're never gonna get the feeling we got in Vegas, it wasn't because we're yearning for Vegas right now. We're yearning for that time. And that's the thing. That's the thing, man. We got, bro, we got the best of the best. We really did, man. We got, and I really am thankful, obviously, for my age now, where I can tell people, like, you don't understand. I had a purple translucent Pokemon, a Game Boy Color, and I linked it up to somebody else's Game Boy, and we played Pokemon Red versus Pokemon Blue, and we traded the Pokemon to each other that you could only get on Red and Blue.
Right.
And we had the little arena, and we faced each other, and I had my guide. I went through everything that I could. Like, that was, they look at it now and they're like, what?
Well, let me ask you this question. Let me toss this question out. When was the last time you played a game that you felt was the first time you were doing something in the gaming world? So, for example, like I would give you, like, the first time, like your point before, we played Mario 64. It was mind blowing because we'd never seen a 3D world like that. When was the last time you had that feeling?
I'll be honest.
Halo. Okay. What do you think,
I would say Destiny 1. Only because only because of how they mixed co-op story and multiplayer and raids. It was like a big MMO, but also a first-person shooter, and it was just the first time I experienced anything like that.
I'm surprised you said Destiny. That's a newer. I would consider that a newer game.
It's
Halo
newer,
makes sense.
It was also a very new experience for me personally, so that's why.
To me, Halo, obviously the original shooter, that I felt revolutionized the first-person shooter was Doom, right? The original Doom.
Right.
And that was something that was like, we'd never seen it before, the upgraded guns, whatever. And then when Halo came out and you played your first LAN party and you were like, I'm legitimately playing 12 other friends, 12 other friends, 10 other, whatever. You were like, what the hell, dude? And that was, and by the way, the craziest part about it is when you didn't have a name, Halo gave you a nickname. It gave you like crazy nicknames, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even go a step further. Some of the names that people had that we played with still use those games as their Xbox gamer tags to this day.
Absolutely.
And you're like, we still use the same phrases, like hit them up. And some of the maps that were in there, and there was little sections, and when we throw a sticky grenade, we'd say, because they would be hiding in the tunnel, we were flushing out the rats. So now every time like the boys are online, I'm like, guys, they're in the tunnels, let's flush the rats out. Like, Santa's sled was the warthog, and in Halo, that's what we used to say. We used to say Santa's sled and capture the flag. One of our boys would whip around, he'd be like, Santa's in town, jump on the sled, boys. And like, that was, so for me, Halo was it, it was like first time you saw a real multiplayer. We never seen nothing like that. We were like, we're fucking playing multiplayer right now. This is, I
feel like the last time I would say that I really was kind of like, like this is groundbreaking is maybe like Guitar Hero. The first Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero also,
Guitar Heroes, it's definitely innovative.
That was probably the last time that I really felt that. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's been like, all right, this is a better version of what I did before. But that was the first time where I was literally kind of like, this is a brand new experience I had never had before in the gaming industry. So, like, that's probably the last time I could think of,
So getting rid of the recent thing, then I would probably say GoldenEye. GoldenEye was the first, like, groundbreaking.
Absolutely. And think about this, to your point before, John, about the kid that was trying to call you out. He never played a game like GoldenEye where you couldn't even use the right joystick to aim up, down, left, and right. You had to just kind of figure it out. You had to stop and stand still and press all kinds of buttons just to be able to move your little reticle somewhere. So I mean, they don't know those struggles.
strategic remote mine placements.
Yeah.
The analog stick actually moved the gun left and right.
Right, right. That's right. It wasn't even the reticle. It was the gun. Like they don't know. They don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, I mean, but think about this. These guys will never have stories like this. They won't.
No.
They just won't. And that's why it's so dope. Like to be able to go back, and I'll tell you, man, like a shout out to a place like Yestercades in Red Bank, right?
I love that place. Yep.
Where you'll walk in and it's a sanctuary for old heads. You know, you walk in, you're like, oh my God, dude. They have NBA Jam, but you're talking about the arcade version.
Right.
You have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, arcade. You have The Simpsons. You have Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. You're going through and you're looking around. You're just like, dude, think about how many people are coming to this place to play old games.
Right.
You know? And that's the crazy part. And people try and push the limit with how futuristic and how the graphics and how this, but all they're doing is just producing something for everyone who has ADD. Here. Yeah. Next thing. It's quick. It's flashy. Look all over. But what they're not doing is anything that's worth a damn. There's nothing with something that grabs us like it used to. Every kid beats a game, is on to the next. They stream it, they're gone.
Yeah.
No one is like, man, there's 120 stars. How come I only have 119? I went through every world. Where's the last star? Nothing is, no one's going through Pokemon Red and trying to evolve all of them and get all of them and know how to, go over and restart. Okay, I started with Charmander. This time I'm starting with Blastoise. Right?
Playing the entire game over again just to re-experience it.
You're not it's a different vibe. I mean, listen, as our daughters are relatively close in age, and how much are they going to love and have that love that we did? I mean, I hope on the one clip we have of GGEN, when I was surprised that I got the win, you saw Scarlett sitting on my lap. She was watching whatever. She looked up and she loves when I game. Yeah. And but like, is she gonna love it? I don't know, bro. I don't know, because I don't know if I can keep her engaged in the old games before somebody introduces her to a new, for her to fall out of love with the old.
That's a good point, though. I mean, I have a friend who's got his son, started games. His son, I think, is like 13 now. And he started when he was younger, 4 or 5, he started playing. And I had said, you got to start with the Nintendo. You got to start with Nintendo. My friend agreed with me, got his son, he had a Nintendo, a working one. And he basically hooked it up and he said, here's your games. You can play this as much as you want. But over the course of like 3 months, it went from, I'm going to play Mario. Now I'm playing Zelda on NES. Oh, but I saw on YouTube, there's this new Zelda that where you can cook food and whatever. And he's like, no, you can't play that one yet. And he goes, but I'll tell you what, here's the next one since you beat the first one. He gave him Super Nintendo. Here's a Link to the Past. A week or two passed. Yeah, but I want to play that new one that I'm seeing online, and everyone he's watching online is playing all the new stuff. Now he won't even touch it. Zero interest in any of the classics, when I'm kind of like, no, I want to go back and finish. I want to watch those. Like, you don't even know how that ended,
Think about it. Like, we started first-person shooting in like a multiplayer setting with GoldenEye. That was like our first
in a multiplayer setting. Well, that or CS:GO or not CS:GO. What the hell am I thinking? Counter-Strike. Yeah, no, Counter-Strike. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking like
console.
Console.
Yeah. So that's GoldenEye. I mean.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say PC had
PC. They had their own Rainbow Six and all that stuff going on also, but like 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and now they're logging in and playing Fortnite, and all they're like, and this giant castle appears. Meanwhile, us idiots were in, 5 years old, like with this dumb N64.
We were turning on the paintball cheat.
Like it's ridiculous.
I'm talking crazy shit to the same kid. He builds a castle around me and kills me, right? And you know how I'm all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, you little shit, catch me when there's no build.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
How do we turn the build off?
Yeah. Catch me outside.
Buttersworth says Nintendo 64 was so revolutionary because it gave us so many multiplayer games that no other system had at the time. Which is true. I mean, every game, the whole system was designed to keep us with each other. You know what I mean?
Get off the bus at my friend's house because he had the N64 first before any of us. So it was like, nope, we're getting off the bus at your stop and we're playing, was it WCW NWO? And we would just sit around and it would be like 6 of us and like, all right, well, you lost a fight, so now we got cycle this person in, and we would have tournaments.
Just to put it on, just for the record, when my brother watches this, if you're ever playing that game and he's supposed to be your partner, do not trust him. He will backstab you. The moment your back's turned, he's gonna clothesline you over the rope. Yeah, no, homie, don't play that. I got good at that game specifically because I couldn't trust my brother or my friends when they were my teammates. Now I still will challenge anybody that I'll smoke him in that game. My defense in that game was impeccable, and I'm excited for the AEW. Talking about wrestling, I'm excited for the AEW wrestling game because it's a spiritual successor to those games from Nintendo 64. The controls are supposed to be similar. The whole idea is that it's going to be a sequel to those games, and I'm excited for that reason alone.
Yeah,
that'll
great.
Be interesting.
We use characters we don't care about. That's cool. Great.
Yeah. We didn't care about any of those characters.
To GTA though, and I guess to wrap this up, the reason why I'm torn that the fourth GTA 4 remake was canceled is because as somebody who plays GTA like almost every day still, I've been in Los Santos for 15 years now, like for real. Because
you could use a break.
Out PS3, like it's insane. So I wanted Liberty City to be remade and added to online. So if they scrap them making a brand new Liberty City from the ground up, let's say, then it can't be added to GTA Online and progress that shit going on over there, and we're just stuck in Los Santos.
I feel like my prediction is that for GTA 6, that's going to be the new Red Dead Online. It's going to be multiple gigantic maps that you could take a flight from place to place and kind of just explore.
That's the biggest rumor with GTA 6 is it's going to be multiple cities.
Well, I mean, where else could they go? I feel like they can't really do much else.
Liberty City was supposed to be like part of it, and Liberty City is my favorite city to play in. Like GTA 4 is one of my favorites because of that. But I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so it's like I don't like all these remasters coming out, but selfishly there's a couple that I wouldn't mind seeing, like I mentioned.
I'm sure for a lot of people there's a couple they wouldn't mind seeing.
Yeah.
But that's let's move on, because I could honestly talk about that shit all day, son. I could reminisce constantly. So let's just kind of move on to the other big moment that happened. I'm going to do a separate video for anyone who might be interested. I'm going to do a separate video for Stranger Things because my two guests here refused to watch it for some reason. So I'll do a separate video for that. But The Boys. Are you guys caught up on The Boys?
Am I still a guest if I've been here every week?
I guess not, right? Just co-hosts. I guess
we're just here. We're here.
Just members.
No, but yeah, the Stranger Things. I fell off that wagon in season 2.
Fine.
I was
fine.
Done with it.
I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it in a separate video. But let's talk about The Boys real quick.
Do your thing, man.
Big bombshells. Spoiler alert: if you haven't watched it, save the video, wait for the YouTube replay, go watch The Boys, and then come back and tell us what you thought. But the big news at the end of that episode was Soldier Boy is Homelander's papa, to tie into Stranger Things.
Yeah,
it kind of did make sense. I almost felt like I'm just speaking for myself. I almost felt like when the ending of the episode was coming up and the phone call was made and they're talking, it didn't hit me as such a big surprise. Not that I called it, but the moment he said it, I was like, oh well, yeah, okay, that kind of fits. You know what I mean? So I don't think it landed, I guess, like for me, like they kind of wanted it to. But
He's
it is a
supposed
big
to be
reveal.
the first like super soldier, right? The first enhanced person.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the comic books. 100%. I don't know if he's the first. I think in the show they're basically saying he was like, the first Homelander, the first guy that was unkillable.
I think he was. I think he was like the first one that like didn't die from all the injections or whatever they were
maybe.
doing.
I mean, I'm sure we'll find out at some point. You know what I mean? Now, but let me ask you this question: with that big reveal being at the end of the penultimate episode and the finale coming up, we obviously have some people that are going to die. Do you think Soldier Boy sticks around for another season? You think the story is over with him and they end it next episode? Or, do you think that literally Homelander and him are going to have a showdown, someone's gone, and we're going to lose one of the coolest characters in the show?
I think Soldier Boy is gonna stick around. He's too big of a person, I feel like, to just kill off. But
the actor, you mean, or you mean the character?
Well, the actor, like, I feel like he just killed this role all season when they first introduced him.
You think Soldier Boy and Stormfront did the horizontal line dance and made Homelander together?
I 100% think that. I think Stormfront is Homelander's mom, and he's just loses shit when he finds that out, or he's just not going to care because he's Homefront and he don't give a shit.
Follow-up question, John. You think Huey makes it out of this next episode alive?
I think Huey does. I think Starlight doesn't.
Oh, Starlight! You're the first one to say Starlight's going to die. That's interesting. I think it makes sense almost because she's really pushing her buttons. Homelander is like just this close to just lasering her face off and being like, "Oops, it was an accident."
I think that it's getting to the point where the show is making her out to be so untouchable that she dies.
Right, they're setting it up basically for her to take the fall.
Yeah. I think that it's ends up being that that way. I also happen to think that I think Homelander kills Soldier Boy. I think in like a vulnerable moment, they're talking or they're reminiscing, whatever, and maybe Soldier Boy is trying to open up to him about the only thing he has left. And you know how Homelander's been talking to himself in the mirror, his like alter ego.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the alter ego is talking about how they have to sort of kill that one shred of doubt inside of him. I think like he lets his guard down and Homelander kills him.
So almost like, do you think he tricks Soldier Boy? Like he basically, and that's actually, it's a good guess only because Soldier Boy's, what's the word? Like his demeanor when he's talking to Homelander, when he makes the comment of like, if they just kept me in the loop, I would have just given you the 7 anyway. Like who wouldn't want that for their son? It kind of goes into what you're saying, that he's gonna kind of be like, look, give Papa a hug. Like Dr. Evil.
I think this is like you remember the movie Gladiator?
Yeah.
Where Marcus Aurelius talks to Maximus and he says, I'm going to give you the kingdom, whatever. And he says, I need time to think. And he leaves. Then his son comes in and he sort of gives him a hug and he's crying and squeezes him to death to kill him, to suffocate him.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where like they embrace and Homelander is, like, oh, I went through all of this without knowing what I was or who I was. And, and then like he gives him a hug and he kills him.
It smokes his ass. Do we see another giant penis in some form in the finale?
I don't know.
I tell you what, after seeing all of the penises that I have and watching a little person climb inside of a penis, I'm slightly scarred for life and I'm good. I'm good. I don't need any more. And quite frankly, I don't even want to see any more boobs. Like after the last scene where Soldier Boy walked in and the grandma is rubbing one out, I was mortified. I'm like,
oh god, just a great detail.
He's like, you don't understand. They're like fine wine.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, my God, this is brutal.
My prediction is, in order to one up themselves, we're gonna see that little man crawl into someone's asshole and not a dick. What's worse though, crawling into a dick or crawling into an asshole? Which one's the, what's the higher level there?
I don't know.
No, crawling into a dick, much worse.
Yeah, but if you add some shit particles, all right. I don't want to go there.
They're gonna do what Marvel did, and they're gonna have somebody do the Thanos ass.
The Thanos ass explosion.
Yeah.
That Ant-Man
Yeah,
doesn't want to do.
for sure.
Apparently, it's canon now.
I gotta ask though. That old woman was like legitimately rubbing one out. How much did they pay that actress? How much did they pay that?
You think you had to pay her a lot? I mean, it's not like she's a face that everyone's going to recognize. She probably got the Actors Guild minimum for that scene. She was like, I'll do whatever I got to do just to be on camera.
No way.
I say she was an extra that was in the background, and the director was like, "Wait, we need someone to finger bang themselves on camera."
No.
She was like, "I got it."
Because I'll tell you right now, it's a natural transition for a younger woman. If somehow she couldn't get another role because that was all they knew her, she could go right to porn. This lady's done. There's no way she didn't get a payday.
Maybe it's in her contract, her clause. You know what I mean?
Because I tell you, that scene popped up, and I was like,
not to be too crass. Maybe it was basically like the more fingers you fit up there, the more bonuses you get. You know what I'm saying?
That's
God.
Brutal.
Is that too much? Is it too far?
Oh God, I'm dead, bro.
All right. So on that note, just for anyone who doesn't know, this Friday is the final episode of this season of The Boys. They've already approved, or they've already said and announced that there's another season that they're going to start filming later this year, and next year we'll have season 5 of The Boys. So whatever happens is going to be nuts. My last question actually is for Butcher. Now,
is he gonna die?
I think he survives, but I think that it's gonna be one of those things where like he goes so far with the V and all that kind of stuff that maybe by the end, they kind of leave it open, like he's in a coma or some shit like that, and we don't know what's gonna happen in the next season. Maybe he'll be in a wheelchair or some nonsense.
They mentioned like what is it? You take it 3 to 5 times and it can kill you.
That's what that's what Starlight found.
Deteriorates.
Next one for you guys too. I think that at the end of it, Butcher ends up being the next Homelander.
Like now when you say that, you mean that he's the next guy in charge of the 7, or like that he has the powers and is kind of like gets a little power hungry?
I think he ends up being the next supervillain.
I could see that. That would be awesome. I got chills. My hair's standing up just from thinking about that.
Homelander kills Soldier Boy, Butcher kills Homelander, and now all the Supes are trying to find a way to kill him.
Right. And then Huey's torn because the whole point is to kill Supes, but Butcher's his man.
Yeah.
And Mother's Milk is probably going to get covered with more cum before the end of the episode.
The only thing with that is I feel like everyone in the 7 wants Homelander dead. So would they care that much?
Yeah, they would, because if there's somebody who now is stronger than Homelander and more vicious, and all the Supes know what's Butcher been trying to do? Kill all of them.
Right. And if he can kill Homelander, what's to stop him from just kind of mowing them all down?
Yeah.
In that
makes sense.
In that scene with Maeve, he said to her, "All of you need to go. All of you need to die." Right? And she knew it. He said it to Starlight. He said it to all of them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Buttersworth, Buttersworth throws his question out there. He says, "What was worse, the grandma finger banging herself with Soldier Boy, or Roy Munson banging the landlord in Kingpin?"
The grandma, because we actually saw it.
No doubt.
Yeah. We're all on the same page there.
That's not even a question.
We're all on the same page there. Plus, Roy Munson was desperate. Soldier Boy's doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I'm still scarred.
I'm just getting flashbacks of the landlord doing it.
I can still vividly remember the man inside the penis rubbing the sides and then all of a sudden sneezing. Bro, I was mortified. I'm like,
that scene is so funny, man. That scene is so funny.
He's like touching the sides, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm like, bro, he's gonna explode this guy. Like, this is disgusting. I'm grossed. I'm grossed.
And on that note,
hold on.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So what do we think's gonna happen to the Deep? Because this dude's fucking like lost his mind.
Oh, he not only is he surviving, he's gonna have all the power. He's gonna be the leader of the 7 because he's such a corporate stooge. You know what I mean? He'll just do whatever they want him to do as long as he gets to bang fish at the end.
Dude, there's something weird. Like, there's something crazy about his girlfriend or wife or whatever. Like,
Oh
she's
yeah, of course.
controlling. Like, I don't know.
You got to give
she's
that
like,
actor, man, credit.
but,
He is
you know,
all
puppeteering
in
him
for
at this
every
point.
single friggin' octopus banging scene. I mean,
Yeah,
he's enthusiastic about it. He's like, seems like he does it in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't even that scene where he takes the octopus out. He's like, I need this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I like when she's like, you want me to fuck that thing, and he's like, babe, it's a she. She's a she.
Right.
Like, I'm like, come on,
get your
bro.
he says,
Get your
pronouns
get your
right.
pronouns right. He's like, I'm sorry about her. I'm sorry about her. She's just, she's a little out of it right now. I'm like, come on, dude. But he's so into it, man. That actor deserves awards just for, he's selling me.
Mind.
I literally believe he walks around an octopus in like a little tank, and whenever he needs one, he just kind of pulls over somewhere.
That's so, bro. My stomach is queasy, dude.
All
That
right.
shit is gross.
All right, we'll move on. All right, because we're almost at an hour. We'll move on. The other thing I wanted to kind of go over real quick is kind of staying away from the Marvel, DC stuff, from the superhero stuff. There's a ton of movies that are coming out over the next year or two, and I just kind of want to get your opinion. Which ones do you think are gonna flop? It's just real quick. We all know Thor: Love and Thunder is coming out this week. The Captain and I are going to see it on Thursday. We will be talking about it next week. But aside from that, are you guys familiar with the movie Nope? The Jordan Peele horror movie that's coming out?
I know of it, but
I feel like he right now is hot, so I think the movie is going to be it's going to do well. But I feel like it looks a little silly. The whole premise is that a UFO is essentially watching like a ranch or of some sort, and they're trying to take pictures of it.
Another horror film?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the last trailer almost makes it look more like a comedy. The whole feeling of the movie looks weird to me.
I'm not. So this is well outside the horror genre is not for me. I got to be very honest with you guys.
Yeah, same.
I don't watch any horror films whatsoever. I steer away from them. I'm not into it. So, quite frankly, I just feel like every horror film I watch, especially these days, I feel like sick people in the world watch this shit and try and replicate it. So I don't like them at all. Saw and movie. I'm not into it. So that's outside the realm of me. I'm sure if I asked my wife, she would think different because she loves.
Yeah, she's a big horror fan. Yeah,
loves horror films. She can watch a horror film, then go right to bed. Me, I would have to stay up for another 3 or 4 hours, trying to get out of it. So, Nope looked creepy. It looked super creepy from the trailers, and I literally, once it was done, I looked at her and said, "Nope."
Maybe that's what he was going for. Maybe you gave him what he wanted. There is a movie coming out. When is this coming out? 2022, July actually, on Netflix, called The Gray Man. Joe Russo and Anthony Russo directing it with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. It's like an assassin kind of action movie. That looks pretty sick to me. I think that'll be a good one. And Netflix they're kind of on a roll with the movies they come out with. Some of the other ones though that I wanted to ask about. Are you guys excited for Bullet Train with Brad Pitt?
That was my movie for the year.
Yep.
So that's the one you're
Marvel.
Besides Marvel, that's the one you're excited for this year.
That's the one I'm looking forward to.
I mean, come on, bro. It's a good cast.
Right. It's the guys who did John Wick, right? So the action is going to be friggin' on point.
Yeah.
Next year is John Wick 4. Speaking of John Wick,
I'm a John Wick diehard, so I can't wait for that. I can't wait. They could do John Wick 35, right? And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to like them all.
Yep. No, they're going to remake it and go back to John Wick 1.
Yeah. Hey, if it's not Keanu though, then how good can it really be? I mean, Bullet Train probably, if we're talking not Marvel, is probably my big one. I know for the Halloween times we got, or not, it's really September, Hocus Pocus 2. I don't know if you guys watched that as a kid, but I grew up watching that kind of shit.
I think everyone saw Hocus Pocus. I think everyone liked Hocus Pocus. I mean, how can you not? It's one of the it's one of those great Halloween movies, right?
Right. Something we can watch with the kids.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
In October we have Halloween Ends is supposed to come out. Which I don't understand how that's coming out in October. There's not been a teaser. There's been no trailers. I have zero idea what's going to happen there. And the last one was garbage. So
Once again, not happening.
yeah, I'm going to skip over Black Adam because we've talked about that at length. Otherwise, let's see. Black Panther, we're not going to talk about. Avatar 2, we talked about that a little bit before. I feel like we're going to go see it. I don't know about you, Captain, but I want to go see that shit. So
absolutely.
I feel like I honestly feel like, and I'm going to go on record saying this, I feel like we're going to be blown away by the visuals of this movie. I don't think the movie is going to be, it's going to be like the first one. Not really such a special story, but visually the trailer blows me away already. So I think this one's going to be great. I did skip over one. I forgot to mention this. Dragon Ball Superhero. That's coming out in August.
I'm very, first of all, very upset at a lot of the spoilers that have come out.
There's a ton, man. There's a ton. They're giving away the whole movie.
Oh, no. I'm pissed. There wasn't even something marked as a spoiler, and it was Gohan's transformation. I was very mad at how many spoilers, how far ahead they released that movie from Japan to us. Dude, I couldn't be more pissed. I could be more excited to see a movie and more pissed at the same time. Dude, I'm very upset because that's my big one. Like Bullet Train's after Dragon Ball to me, and they just confirmed 2023, a brand new season of Dragon Ball Super after Tournament of Power. Couldn't be more excited for that as well.
I've been keeping up with the mangas a little bit, not really reading them, just more of like what's going on there, and the stories that they're going to bring to the next season of Super just look insane to me. So I'm super excited about that. Do you want to see? Are we going to try and see that in theaters? What do you think?
Absolutely.
I would love. I don't remember the last time I saw a Dragon Ball movie in theaters, so I would love to see that in theaters. We're gonna skip Shazam. We don't want to see that shit. No. That's really it for 2022. I mean, Pinocchio, I guess, if anyone's excited about that, it's supposed to come out this year.
No. There's a Bruce Willis movie that I want to see.
I'm going to be honest, and not to get too serious here. I like to kind of laugh and all stuff. The shit Bruce Willis is going through mentally is very similar to what my dad went through. And just seeing a picture of him is kind of tough. So I kind of want to avoid it. You know what I mean? Like, I still think of Bruce Willis as John McClane, and I don't really want to, like ruin that. So I'm just honestly not going to even bother. No offense to him or like that. You know, I hope his family makes the money off the movie, but I'm not that, I can't sit through that.
I didn't see the movie. I don't know what it is. What is it?
It's a standard action movie.
Yeah, action spy. You know.
No, yeah. I know Bruce Willis is. I know he's going through it, but I didn't know he had another movie. I assume once he was really like headed downhill, that was it. You know.
Right. Next year, there's actually some interesting titles. There's a Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out with Chris Pine, Hugh Grant. I can't pronounce his other person's name, Michelle Rodriguez. I mean, the fact that we haven't seen anything or heard anything about it,
it's a solid cast.
Yeah, but we haven't seen if the fact that we haven't heard a thing about it is worrisome to me because it's supposed to be early of next year. So you know we're at the halfway point. We're past the halfway point this year. So
yeah, but also keep in mind too. How much in advance can you market something when you're marketing up against, Thor and
that's a good point.
Black? You know how much like people are gonna be like, all right, well look at all these blockbusters. Once the blockbusters are done, maybe we should hit the advertising then, the marketing. You know, there's nothing else to compete with. Listen, the original Dungeons and Dragons, as long as we don't have Marlon Wayans, we're okay. So
yeah,
that's
a deep cut. Deep cut for anyone who's watched the original Dungeons and Dragons. Wasn't that a Yui Ball movie? Oh, the less we talk about him, the better.
I mean, watching that Dungeons and Dragons was honestly, horrendous. I've been more entertained by watching grass grow.
I came across John Wick Chapter 4 in 2023, March of 2023. Actually, honestly, besides the Marvel stuff, that's probably my most anticipated movie for next year.
Keanu filmed Matrix and John Wick pretty much back to back.
Yep,
he just went right into it.
So John Wick Chapter 4 and then Mission Impossible next year. That's going to be that's like Mission Impossible is my Top Gun. Like that's going to be unbelievable. The stunts are going to be great. Like that's what I'm excited
to
about.
see Top Gun, and it's upsetting.
Come on. I mean, you're the one who did the trailer reaction.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I'm dying. And it's funny. I just recently watched the original Top Gun like a week ago.
What about how excited are you guys for the next Fast and Furious movie? That's May of next year.
Yeah, I love all those Fast and Furious movies. I don't care. I don't care how silly they get. I know what I'm getting into when I'm watching them, and they're just, I don't know, they're fun to me.
I love them all. I don't know, man. I think at this point now, it became like I really fell in love because they always mixed in awesome ass cars too.
Right.
And I fell in love with that. So even as corny as it was, I was like, this is dope, you know?
Yeah.
And they would bring in cool characters, you know, like they would Jason Statham and The Rock, and now The Rock doesn't do anything with Vin Diesel. And by the way, the producer that was on there,
he quit too.
Yeah. He quit because of Vin Diesel. You know,
the director. The director.
He said he was unprofessional. He showed up late every time. He couldn't work with him anymore. And to me, Vin Diesel quit when Paul Walker died.
That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like.
And you're getting like, you know, it's almost like he wants someone to tell him we're done, so he doesn't have to show up late anymore. You know, and if you're pushing everybody away, what are you really getting? You know, so I thought they were supposed to make one more. If I'm not mistaken, I thought they were making 11. Were they not?
They originally they said they were, but someone recently, I think Vin Diesel said that he tried to sell it as like the real conclusion of the story only needs one more movie, so like they're gonna end it on the correct note and not push it too far. I think I heard people are not as excited for this one. The last one did well. I mean, they all do well. But I think the last one was almost a little too far into the ridiculousness, and this one feels the same way. And that's how I feel too. I almost feel this almost feels like the series is very close to being one movie too many, and they haven't done it yet because they're all still kind of entertaining. But that last movie was a little bit of a slog to get through, in my opinion. So this one I'm not that excited for because of it.
This movie and the next one they're doing, it's supposed to be, I think this is the finale, and I think they're doing it like a Infinity War Endgame style, like it's part one,
like part 1, part 2. Maybe that's maybe instead of 11 movies, that's what it is. It's a part 10. It's 2 parts.
It's a 2-parter, finale or whatever.
I do know that The Rock has plans to do more Hobbs and Shaw movies. I mean, they want to expand it into a whole thing.
It's very weird that it's I don't know. At that point, like, forget it. You're done with your Fast and Furious character. Like, just move on.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone really. I mean, Hobbs and Shaw was a fun movie, but again, I don't know that anybody really cared.
It was nothing. Yeah, it was nothing crazy. It was entertaining, but nothing.
I mean, I'm very like, at this point, like, who's the villain they're all going up against? Is it still?
I think it's still Charlize Theron.
So like, okay, but like, is she that crazy of a villain? Like, there's just no way to get her. There's no possible way whatsoever. She's that, to make a two-parter. I don't know. I mean, this is what's kept Mission Impossible so amazing. And even furthermore, James Bond. For me, it's like every time there was a new villain, they sold you on how epic the new villain was, knowing that there was a real villain behind the villain.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in Mission Impossible. Everyone's like, well, how many times can the world about to end? And I'm like, well, if there is somebody that controls everything and he's controlling this and controlling that, and we haven't seen who that is yet behind the curtain, every time he's saving the world, you fully know there's somebody else plotting.
Right.
So you know what you're getting, right? So they're adding characters with that sense of like, you still have the I always forget their names, but the black guy who's always done his computer work.
Right. Ving Rhames, is that who that is? Yeah, I think Ving Rhames.
Yeah, I forgot their
Oh yeah, I don't.
But
I know Ethan Hunt. That's
yeah. But like Benji is the other one, right? So you've always had Benji, you've always had, so like, what you're getting, but it's always fresh. The
Right.
way that the world's about to end is fresh. You're
Right.
like, wow, bro. And
Yeah.
that's what makes Mission Impossible epic, and that's what made James Bond epic. Like that, you know, not this one, but the one right before it, when he found out that it was the family that adopted him, and it ended up being the kid
Right.
who, you know, who like his dad died, I guess, on a ski trip with him, and he was adopted, and blah blah blah. And then you get you're like, bro, that's what they were leading to. Like, holy crap, you know, like this is, and it's so believable because he was like, I've been controlling everything the whole time, and it's showing little snippets here and there, and you're like, this is ingenious.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is ingenious.
But that goes a long way in showing why these series, these trilogies or whatever, need to be planned out ahead of time. Because all those little breadcrumbs that you saw, and then I agree with you, when the reveal happened, that's where it really hits you like, damn, this guy's been pulling those strings, you know?
Yeah. That's how Infinity War got us.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's how it got us, showing him get the Infinity Stones and everything, and you realize, like, wow, bro, 14 years was for 6 stones. Like, he got them. Like, this is wild, bro. You know, like, what? So you're blown away. And there's nothing like a great plot twist. Nothing.
Well, yeah.
And by the way, John Wick 3, when Winston shoots him off the roof, you're like,
yeah. Yeah.
Bro, this is...
I can't wait to see how that goes.
My favorite movie of all time, is The Last Samurai. And I tell everybody,
that fucking movie's amazing.
I said, get past, even though Tom Cruise played an amazing, you know, alcoholic soldier, the fact that he learned this amazing culture, fell in love with it, became it, went to war, died in something he believed, everybody ended up turning at the end after they realized, like, what did we just do? And you're like, you didn't expect it, right? Like,
right.
You see the title Last Samurai, but you don't think, like, you at also fall in love. You don't realize, like, wow, he's really going to battle and he's going to die. Like, you don't think about it, you know, you just don't. And that's where that stuff comes from. And when someone asks me, they're like, oh, doesn't he die at the end? I'm like, no, it's actually the craziest part about it is not only did he go to war and he lives on, he goes back to the village. Like, he you know, it's a crazy, you know, it's a crazy thing. It's like, this isn't Rambo, where we know Rambo kills everybody at the end of every movie.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's a different vibe. It's a different story, you know? So that's the one thing for me, Fast and the Furious, they've done a great job, but you're sort of getting to that point now where it's a little convoluted. It's like, all right, so Theron gets captured every time, and Theron gets out every time, and Theron finds a way to have this new technology somewhere built up with the money that we don't know where it comes from, with the artillery and the men that are stored away in basements. I mean, guy, like, I just saw Honda Civic in outer space. Like, I don't think I need to see anything else.
Wasn't it a Fiat?
No, yeah,
it was a Fiat. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, like I don't,
with an engine, with a jet engine,
with duct tape on it or something.
Yeah, I mean, listen, cool. You know, Tyrese and what's his name are gonna crack on each other the whole time. Ludacris.
Yeah.
All right, how many
more?
more?
Know what villain I want to see come back?
For Fast and Furious?
The dude from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Right. They should see now that they should do that. I would get excited for that.
Right? Like, he finally gets out of prison because he's doing his 10-year, prison sentence for whatever he's doing.
But here's the thing, though.
And then
how do you bring him back without Paul Walker? You know what I mean? Like, his revenge scheme would be Paul Walker or Brian.
That would be even better, because
he's going after Tyrese.
If he came back and made a phone call to Tyrese, something to the effect of like,
guess who's home or something like that.
You know, I told you before I left, I was coming after you guys, and now without your buddy in the picture, you're next. You know, like,
right.
Something to that effect, and then Tyrese getting the guys together, or but like, you know, you see somehow Theron and him are working together. He's funding.
I was just gonna say, what if he's
Right.
like from prison? He's been paying her, trying to get her to do all these things.
Exactly.
Now he's out. I mean, listen, you're getting me excited for something that's not even that's probably not gonna happen.
yeah.
But
No,
like,
we're gonna walk into the movie. It's still they're gonna pick up with the Fiat in outer space and be dog shit. We're gonna hate our lives.
well, Jason Momoa is basically gonna be the long lost cousin of Vin Diesel. And John Cena and Vin Diesel are gonna have to, bring Jason Momoa back into the family.
Yeah.
The
Fast 11 is just going to be the Royal Rumble in 2024. That's just that's all it is.
It's crazy, but like John Cena, I felt like he belonged. The Rock, I felt like he belonged.
He did.
The more movies that go on, I feel like the original character in Vin Diesel,
right,
the less I believe he belongs anymore.
Right.
It's weird.
It's almost like everyone else has better chemistry with each other than he does with anybody. Even Michelle Rodriguez, he's not even gelling with her anymore, and she's supposed to be the love of his life.
The last scene that I liked that Vin Diesel did in the whole series was the fight he had with The Rock.
Yeah.
That was the last scene that I liked.
I still remember that in theaters.
Where they're just breaking everything. Yeah.
I literally still remember that when I saw it in theaters, and like the ampedness, the adrenaline going through me when they were going at it was amazing. And I feel like they've been kind of chasing that high since that moment, and they just haven't gotten it. They haven't been able to really catch that,
Listen, it's the new system effect. We didn't see it yet. We saw it 2 times.
Same thing. Yep.
And it doesn't matter if we get it again. We're like, saw it.
Yeah, seen it, been there, done that.
The
only thing I'll say to the Fast Furious stuff is it. I know there's an end now. You know what I mean? Like if we didn't know that this whole saga was ending and there could be, Fast 15, 20, whatever, then it's like, I'm done. Like it's too much. Like, maybe I'll watch it in passing, whatever. But knowing that there's an end to it, I'm excited to see how it finally closes out.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because now the stakes actually can land. You know what I mean? Instead of just knowing that they're all going to survive, and if they don't survive, that they're just going to come back in a future movie like Han. So, last movie I want to ask you about, and then we're going to call it a night.
I got one more too.
Wait, Trigon 411 says there's only one reason why I am in this chat, and I need to know what that is, Trigon. But last movie.
God, here we go.
How excited are you guys for? He said for family. You got me. I thought you were gonna give me something special. Family. I wish I could say it like him though.
I don't have friends.
I don't have
family.
Those memes are probably the best thing to come out of Fast and Furious at this point. Indiana Jones 5,
which is ironic because everybody's leaving him because nobody likes him.
Because he's an asshole. He doesn't treat anybody like family.
He's not family.
Indiana Jones 5. Are you excited? Bust? Is it going to do well, or is it going to bust?
Bust.
It'll probably be a bust.
I think it's going to bust too.
I didn't like. What was the last Indiana Jones?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I wasn't a big fan of that movie.
I wasn't either, and I tell you, the problem is, first of all, Harrison Ford's too old. He does not like. There's a difference between an old person who looks like they can do the action and Harrison Ford. And he does not look like he can do the action at all. He looks like he doesn't want to. He looks like he's getting, like, he literally will flat out be like, I just went there because I'm getting paid to do it. He doesn't give a shit. So, like, give up. Let it go. Let it die peacefully.
Harrison Ford's in his 80s now, right? Early 80s?
He's got to be. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I can look it up.
I think he is. I think he's like 82.
Instead of just guessing, I'm going to Google it. I'm going to use the old Google.
There's two numbers, 78, 82. He's one of the two.
All right, closest without going over. John says 82. Scythe, what do you think?
Well, I said either 78 or 82.
All right, either 78 or 82. So John's cheating. Scythe, what do you think? How old is Harrison Ford?
80.
79. He's 79. So you guys are right around there.
Good,
you're right around there. You surrounded it. Surrounded it. No, but
I just went right in the middle because it was safe.
A great battleship player.
Yeah. You know? No, but yeah, I just they announced the movie. I know we haven't heard much about it since. I know we had a few images I think released, but
go right to DVD.
It should. It should go right to demand, honestly, right on streaming. Fuck.
Is what's his name going to be in it?
I don't know actually.
Shia LaBeouf.
Not that I know.
He was in the last one, right?
No, I'm pretty sure they're basically ignoring the last one because everyone just universally hated that one. South Park made a whole episode where Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were raping stormtroopers in Indiana Jones because of how bad that movie was. So I think they were like, you know what, we're gonna avoid that and just redo it. But But I think it's. I don't think. I'm not interested. I'm a fan of Indiana Jones of the original 3, but I'm not interested. So
I got one for you guys.
Yeah, go for it.
It's coming out next year unless it gets delayed or whatever. The new Transformers.
I just watched Age of Extinction again, right? The last one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good one.
Quite frankly, after Age of Extinction, they left you with the cliffhanger of it coming back.
Right.
I'm not sure how many times they're going to bring back Megatron, and I'm not sure how many times Optimus Prime comes back or saves or says, "Until we meet again, Earthlings." I mean, like I don't know.
Well,
let me ask you this question though, Fred.
Who's
directing it?
Gorilla. What?
Who's directing it? Is it Michael Bay?
I think it is.
So this is kind of against everything that anyone's going to want to ever hear. But if he's directing it, I'm all in. He knows how to direct action. As if he can cut 20 minutes or so it's not a 3-hour movie, then even better. Yeah. But I'll definitely go see it.
Listen, it got stale, so now we get Beast Wars.
Once again, which is why I'm more excited about it than I would have originally been.
Right. Here we are again. It's the remaster.
It's the same thing. No, you're right.
Here we are.
And here I am being a hypocrite. I'm going to go see it.
To play devil's advocate, is it really a remaster? Because we haven't really gotten Beast Wars in live action, if you want to call it.
Let me ask you something. How is it not?
Bumblebee was
Transformers
probably the best one.
Until they ran Transformers into the
literally
into the ground.
Into the ground, literally.
Literally, it's in the ground. And then they're like, "Oh, by the way, Beast Wars."
Yeah,
I get it.
Like no one knew it was even coming too. They popped their heads out like, "Hey guys."
It's not like they're rebooting it and it's still the cars, you know what I mean, or Optimus Prime, the tractor trailer.
But the cars are coming. Like John said.
I can see Michael Bay like, I'm back. Okay.
100%. I should have zoomed in on you when you did that. No, 100%. Like that he was just kind of counting his money, probably floating in a pool of it, and then someone like the pool was a little bit lower level than it normally is, and he was like, what's going on here? I need more money, and then he just popped up at the executive's offices. Hey guys, I got an idea. Beast Wars. Yeah. They were like, cha-ching.
He's definitely off screen. Someone screams at him. Is there another Transformers? You can't do another Transformers, right? There's no money.
So he's not directing it. he's producing it.
Like, all right. Come on, dog. Like he's like he's like an evil maniacal guy in the background. At some point in time, like I'm sorry, dude. First of all, there's nobody in the history of shows that didn't love Beast Wars, right? We all love.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love that shit as a kid.
I've rewatched that thing so many friggin' times.
The fact of the matter is like, I don't need a Beast Wars movie, bro. I don't need a Beast Wars movie. I don't need a Beast Wars movie.
I'm telling you right now, it's one of those things where you'll say no, but when the trailer comes out and you see those gorgeous machines turning into some animals, you're gonna be like, all right. All right, damn it, you got me.
You see Gorilla Prime and what was his name? Cheetah. What the hell was his actual name?
Oh, I don't know. It's been so long.
He's basically the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
We're talking about going to see Hocus Pocus 2. Yes, bro, I'll go see it. But am I gonna be happy about it? No.
Oh no. And we're gonna walk out of that theater guaranteed in a better mood than when we saw Doctor Strange.
No.
You don't think so? You think you're gonna like Doctor Strange better? I don't think so.
I think I'll end up liking Doctor Strange better. By the way, and even just to sign off on this, so my wife goes to watch it. It's on demand, right? Now, mind you, it went to on demand a month later, and
fast.
And what you call it? Spider-Man is still not there, right?
Yeah,
right.
They're about to put Spider-Man back out, but she literally she's watching Doctor Strange. And she's like, "Hey, you want to watch him?" And I'm like, "I really don't want to watch it again." And she's like, "Was it that bad?" I said, "Listen, there's a couple scenes in there that really chapped my ass, Lloyd. Like, I'm not watching it again. I'll be super mad." She gets to the scene with the Illuminati. And can I tell you, I went off again on a tangent to her, and she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like, she has no idea. And I'm like, this epic group, how could they kill these guys off in 30 seconds? So now she doesn't get it, right? And she goes, are you just mad that they made Captain America a girl? Because she doesn't realize like that's a character,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, and I hate you for saying that. I'm done. So bad.
No, it's
the
bad.
movie just pissed me off, bro.
It's bad. And not to go on a Doctor Strange 2 tangent, but I tried to rewatch it and I made it a half hour through and was like, why am I doing this? And I just turned it off. I really was not a fan of that movie. But all right.
I put it in the Disney vault, and it's in there.
Yeah.
It's done. It's
Lock that vault up, throw away the key, and we'll throw Indiana Jones 5 in there when it comes out. Real quick, last thing, real fast before we bounce for tonight, boys. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Bubba Ray Dudley in the Best Mic Worker beat Jake the Snake, so he'll be moving on. And then for everyone in the chat, anyone who watches the replay, the next matchup is The Miz versus Becky Lynch. And I'm going to be posting that tomorrow.
That is a big-time matchup.
We're going to put some clips up for you guys to see. I'll have a little video for it and all that stuff, and then I'll put the poll up. So do your research, make your votes.
Becky Lynch's accent is enough to eliminate her immediately. Because when she talks, her voice is deeper than mine, and it's atrocious. And I feel bad. Like, it's cringeworthy. Actually, I want to punch her in the face. She gums on, and when she talks, like, my wife knows. You know, she looks at me and she's like, "How mad are you right now?" And I'm like, "There's like, you can't do it." And the fact that like Seth Rollins was like, "I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life," is so awful. And I don't. And she can be an amazing person. I couldn't subject myself. I'd get her vocal cords changed. But like, just think, she gets in the ring, and she's like, "I'm the man." Like it's like a Kermit the Frog type.
Wait, hold on.
deal.
Let's do that one more time. Let me get close on you. Let me get close to your face. Give me the impression.
Bro, no, but am I wrong though? She
No,
doesn't
you're
do
right.
that.
You're
She
right.
doesn't, bro. You know, she gets in there and she Becky two chains. Like what? Like I don't know. Like what, Becky? Like what? Like first of all, what did you just say? Second of all, why is your voice deeper than mine? Third of all, do you have a penis? Like I see a bulge in your pants. I get so mad. So by default, The Miz takes it.
Yeah.
And everyone has said, Chris Jericho, a lot of these guys have said the greatest villain or heel in wrestling history is The Miz. Comes naturally to him. He's great on the mic. He's very witty. Sometimes he says things, but you know it's because he's trying to build up the guys he's talking to.
He's with you.
And he's like serving these up.
He's my pick. He's fantastic on the mic. He's nuts.
Buttersworth also says The Miz. So on that note, fellas, it's almost just about an hour and a half. Hopefully for Johnny Cage. Thanks, guys. Take an hour and a half from me and just talking shit about the world of entertainment. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. All the social media is scrolling at the bottom. The replay for this podcast will go up tomorrow. It'll be on all the podcasting networks and channels and everywhere you can listen to podcasts, basically. And if I'm not mistaken, Multiversal Podcast is this weekend, right, Scythe?
It is, yep.
So keep an eye out for that. He'll be jumping on at some point to focus on the gaming world and some other pop culture stuff. And we'll see you next week. Thor: Love and Thunder. If you haven't seen it, we're going to be spoiling the shit out of it on Tuesday. We're giving you a few days to watch it. I don't know why anyone would wait longer than that, especially if you're jumping into this podcast. And we'll see you guys next week.
I will not be talking about Thor on my on the podcast this weekend. I'll be saving it for a theater room.
Nice. All right, boys. We'll see you guys next time.